So, this meditation thing really is very simple. Insofar as it's just a question of all we're trying to do is just observe the present moment. And the breath happens to be a good anchor because this breath that you're having right now is only happening right now. Now, obviously, the challenge is that the mind wants to wander and it wants to go all over the place. But if I can dissuade you of the notion that that means you're doing it wrong, you'll go a long way in meditation and get a lot more out of it. So the mind is going to do that. It's going to take you all sorts of other places. And it is relatively difficult to hold our focus and concentration in the present moment. But that is what we're doing, is over and over again, we're placing our attention in the present moment, getting distracted. And very importantly, noticing where the mind went and then coming back. And you don't have to use the breath. You can use anything in the present moment. The breath is one of the most commonly used anchors, but you can also use the sensations of your body. Right now, you can feel various things from your body if you pay attention, if you place your focus onto the physical sensations of your left foot right now. You can feel your left foot, or your right foot, or your left shoulder. You can place your attention there, and when you do that, when you focus on a particular part of your body and notice the sensations, your attention in that moment is in the present moment, because those sensations you're having in your body are only happening right now. So at that moment, you've done it. Your attention's in the present moment, and you're slowly, bit by bit, maybe millisecond by millisecond, becoming more familiar with that state of mind where your attention is simply in the present moment. So you can use the breath, you can use the body. Some people meditate to music, and you can use sound. Some people will gaze at a candle flame and just observe the tiny microscopic movements of the flame on the candle as it's burning. Again, you can use anything that's going on in the present moment, because in one respect, meditation ultimately is about starting to develop this skill to be able to see the present moment, to see reality as it is, simply as it is, without all of this mental stuff, without the judgments, belief, opinions, all that stuff. All that stuff's really useful in our life. But in meditation, we're learning to do something else, which is we're learning to see reality as it is, without judgment, without opinion, without thoughts and all that stuff, without an agenda. And there are lots of reasons for it, but one of them is it just feels great. You do this and you will feel better. So it's nice. And there's more to it than just feeling nice, but that reveals itself over time the more you do it. Now, one of the difficult and powerful things that's also happening in every moment is you have feelings and emotions. And there's kind of a continuum between the very pleasant ones, the ones we love, like joy, happiness, love. We like those a lot. They're fantastic. We want more of those. I want more of those. And then there's kind of that, I feel okay. I don't feel great. I don't feel bad. That's not a bad place a lot of the time. A lot of us would just like to be in that place where, it feels okay. And then there's all the unpleasant stuff, which can range from annoyance and frustration to getting a little bit more into things like anxiety, sadness, grief, jealousy, even anger. So these are these unpleasant emotions that we don't like, we don't want. If we feel them, we're like, okay, this is wrong. I need to get out of this state. But we're always having some kind of feeling. In fact, one of the most common expressions in the English language is like, how are you doing? How's it going? How are you feeling? How's things? And usually we say, fine. Or something like that. Yeah, good. And it's usually a lie. Okay, even if it isn't a lie, it's it's inaccurate or incomplete, because actually what we're feeling in the moment is pretty complicated. And often there's a lot going on. Often there isn't just one thing. We might feel okay about a certain thing. And so there might be a part of our psyche and our feelings and our emotions that feels okay. And then there's another piece that's not feeling okay. So in meditation, one of the things we start to do, so we start out with a breath, might move to the body, might move to some music or candle flame or something like that. But one of the other things that's always going on in the moment, that's always true, is you're feeling something. Might be pleasant, might be unpleasant. If it's unpleasant, I don't know about your default reaction, but my default reaction is if I'm feeling something unpleasant, I resist it, resent it, I assume it's wrong, and I want to do something to change it. Like, get me out of this. I shouldn't feel this way. I should be feeling good all the time. I saw that Coca-Cola commercial. All those people are having fun all the time. I want that. I want to feel good all the time. So generally, when we don't feel so good, when we feel anxiety, frustration, anger, jealousy, any of these types of unpleasant emotions, uncomfortable emotions, we will do whatever it takes to get out of it. We will call a friend, we'll go for a run, we'll get on the internet and look at YouTube, or we will have a drink, or take drugs, or whatever, read a book, put on the TV. There are all these different ways that we try to distract ourselves from feeling what we're feeling. We don't like feeling them, and that's understandable, they're unpleasant. And so we will try to avoid them. Now, that's fine. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with doing all of that. It's perfectly sensible. I do that. I'm sure you do that. But in meditation, what we're trying to do is we're trying to apply these 4 building blocks of focus, non-judgment, non-striving, and curiosity. And we're trying to see the moment exactly as it is, without judgment, without trying to change it. We're just trying to see it as it is. And that includes our feelings, or at least it can include our feelings. Is simply to notice what you're feeling. And you can use that. You can use what you're feeling. And if it's pleasant, it's pretty easy. You just notice it. You're like, oh yeah, I feel really good. I feel really calm, or I feel really happy, or I feel really grateful, or I feel really lucky, or something like that. Then it's easy. When you're feeling frustrated or tired or hungry or angry or anxious or fearful or any of the things, a lot of which, obviously, there's a lot of that going around right now. A lot of the above, a lot of reasons for fear, anxiety, anger. There's a lot. We're all cooped up. Goodness knows when it's going to end. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of grief. I don't know about you, but I've had 2 friends who've died last week, and you get these messages and it takes the wind out of your sails. It feels that sadness, that grief, that loss. It's horrible. It's a horrible feeling. We don't like it. But in meditation, we just try and sit with it. See if you can sit with it without resisting it, without trying to change it. Sort of one of the things we start to learn is that there is the feeling, there is fear, there is anxiety, there is frustration, there is anger even. There are those things. They are true. They are messages that your body or your psyche is sending you. So you feel those things. And then on top of that, we put all this other stuff. We put all this resentment and anger and frustration that we feel these things. We shouldn't. We have some belief, expectation that we're supposed to feel good all the time. And so we resent it, we resist it, we do anything we can to change it. In meditation, we're becoming aware of all of that. We're becoming familiar with our own mind, with our own reactions, with our own emotions, and with our reactions to our emotions. So we sit, we try and notice how we feel, and then maybe even notice how we're reacting to that feeling as well. And if you can, just sit with the feeling, whatever it is, and just see if you can notice it with non-judgment, non-striving. So by non-striving, I mean, we're not trying to change the feeling in the moment. After the meditation, by all means, have a drink, watch TV, whatever, to try and change the feeling. But in meditation, we're training ourselves in this ability to see the moment as it is, including the feeling. So we just see the feeling without trying to change it. So non-striving. And then curiosity is the magic dust. If you can approach the feeling with curiosity, you might sort of say, well, I feel sad. I know what sad feels like. And I'd say, you do. I know you do know what sad feels like. But see if you can look at it more closely. Really pay attention and move towards the feeling and explore it in terms of where in your body do you feel it? What is the texture of the feeling? You say you feel sad. Well, what does that really feel like? Is there a temperature to it, for example? So things like anger, for example, usually has a heat associated with it. And there's a reason. Your blood is being sent to your muscles and your skin. So you feel heat. But things like fear or sadness, actually we're pulling internally. So there's actually a coolness or even a coldness to the feelings because actually your blood's being pulled in as a defensive measure. So in meditation, we try and sit with the feeling and see the feeling exactly as it is. And I'll talk a little bit more in the second half about why this might be helpful. But for the meantime, I'm just gonna suggest that meditation is about sitting and seeing the present moment. So we're just going to see the feeling in a non-judgmental way, non-striving, using curiosity.